Apologies for the technical issues. Seems there's an issue with OBS. I think maybe with the last update where it's not really handling my Wi-Fi connection and internet connection, even though it's 1 gigabits per second. So we're doing this in my basement and on Zoom. So this should not bring back any issues. Just bear with the bright green screen. But if anybody has any issues, let me know. Bill, how are you again?
Ian, haven't spoken to you in a while. How you doing?
Good, good. If anybody has any technical issues or if there's a lag, let us know in the comments below. But there should be no lag because we're doing this in Zoom. I guess that's the downside of open source and OBS. Some stuff just breaks because I mean, it makes no sense why it works fine in Zoom, but in OBS, it's not working. So it looks like there's some kind of connection issue with OBS I have to look into. Yes, we are really here. Welcome back. Alpha Diallo, Arnaud, To The Moon Crypto, Mark, Franz Dehan, James, Arnaud. Okay, so let's pick up where we left off. Just give me 1 second. Hold on. That should not be playing. Okay, how's the audio? Mic is low. I am using a different mic. Let me know how the audio is. What's up, Harris? What's poppin'? How's the audio, everybody? Let me know how we're doing with the audio. Okay, somebody asking about Compound. So we already shared our thoughts on Compound on the last live stream. Please go back and watch that. We also have videos on our Token Metrics YouTube channel where we talk about that. And we also put out an investment report on Compound to our customers. And it's also on tokenmetrics.com where we now officially have the full review on Compound. Technology, fundamentals, and technical analysis as well. All right, so people are saying everything's good. All right, thank you for your patience. And now let's pick up where we left off. So pretty much, Bill, we were talking about the summer trap in July. So tell us more about that.
Okay, so if we look back, going all the way back to 2014, Bitcoin has gone down anywhere from 30 to 60% in June and July. That includes the bull market of 2017, where there was kind of a heave ho from 3,000 to 2,000. All right. Now, there are a couple of reasons to be worried that this pattern will repeat itself this year. Okay. One of them is a possible issue with equities. Equities right now are assuming what's called a V-shaped recovery. That means the economy tanked and then it's going to come right back. Okay, so let me just give you a few facts about equities. One, I live near the city of Houston. Our hospitals are full and it takes an hour to get an ambulance, and Houston is the third biggest city in the United States. Second fact is that stocks have gone up so much that if you take the number of shares in Microsoft times its price, the value of Microsoft is bigger than the entire US junk bond market. And NASDAQ as a whole is worth more than all of the world's stock markets combined. Now, I know we've all got to kind of go virtual. So there's this time is different thinking in equities. And right. Folks, this time is different are the four most dangerous words in the English language, because it's never different. Okay. So if you combine a serious virus issue in the United States combined with misplaced optimism and a bubble in equities, this could have a negative effect on Bitcoin. Okay. Especially given the seasonal problems. So here's what we want to do. I think we're going to see the top 20 market cap in crypto reorganize itself. I think Bitcoin's still going to be number one, but I think these DeFi players can go up as things like Bitcoin Cash go down. Okay, looking at the artificial intelligence models on Token Metrics, I'm not going to bring them all up. Even our pet project Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, I mean, the price predictions coming from our models show 30-40% declines. Okay. So we have to get out of the way. You have to hedge yourself, probably using short selling and things like possibly Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash. And just make sure that, you know, if there's a rally in Bitcoin, you can use it as a chance to put on a hedge. And, you know, I'm sure you'd love to be wrong. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Now, good question that kind of segues from that. As we head into possibly the summer trap in July, DeFi and stablecoin lending could be a good hedge, especially if Compound is paying out 18% annually to just lend out to stablecoins. Right. So kind of talk about that plus alts as well, how people should play that.
Okay. So here's how I would describe what can go on in bear markets, right? I definitely think capital is going to flow to DeFi. I definitely think you should buy the dip in DeFi from Kava to Compound to Kyber, especially. The thing is, what's the trade location, right? In other words, if everything goes down, people tend to run into something and think that they're safe. And then all of a sudden they realize that there's kind of a big dip. So if there is a big dip in DeFi, I think you pour into that, right? If Bitcoin goes down to 7,000, then you just pour into DeFi. I do think you're going to be safer in DeFi because I think DeFi can come back faster. Why? Because I think crypto is the new collateral, right? Even though there's price fluctuations, and who knows, maybe we get lucky and there is no summer trap, who knows? Right? DeFi and crypto is the new collateral. It's the new way to get money. Credit is what I mean. So those are my thoughts there. I don't know if DeFi is going to protect you from a 30% drop in Bitcoin, but I do know that on a drop in overall crypto markets, you want to be grabbing DeFi.
Yeah. Well said, Bill. And curious to hear what our audience thinks. Some people are talking about maybe U.S. debt, how that plays a factor. That comes from Michael on YouTube. So in general, maybe how does the overall economy play a factor? I know we talked about possibly going into, I guess, pandemic 2.0 in a way, right? With
right.
Other businesses having to close again and other regions having to close again. But how do you think the overall economy plays a factor? Because today, I believe American Airlines just put out an announcement saying that they'll be back to full capacity soon, I believe. Right. So we're kind of getting two contradictory messages from different parts of the economy.
Right. So, okay. So I think everything depends on, you know, kind of how stocks react, right? In other words, if stocks want to ignore bad news, this would not be the first time. They've been ignoring bad news for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So stocks really have nothing to do with the economy. They have to do with liquidity. Okay. Now, crypto doesn't have the Fed underneath it. So one of the things I think you have to be concerned about when it comes to the economy is the credibility of the dollar. So if there is a regime change coming in the United States in November, then I think the printing presses are going to roll. And I think that is going to wind up in the hands of the people. Okay. In other words, I don't know, a lot of people may not know this, but the emergency $600 a week unemployment, that ran out last week. So put that together with what's going on in the third biggest city in the United States, and it's not a recipe for sound economic activity. It isn't even a recipe for social order, honestly. So if the government has to print money in the future and hand it out to people, I think that's the dawn of crypto. And if crypto doesn't go down in July, because we hope it doesn't, even though we've done the numbers, that's why. Okay. Because, you know, just because the stock market's up and just because American Airlines is ramping up doesn't mean that the 30 million people who have lost their jobs are all going back to work. Doesn't.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean,
so
crypto family,
it's
July is coming. hang in there. Don't worry, we have your back. Just make sure you're with us with Token Metrics. Bill will be putting out two, I would say, pretty in-depth custom newsletters each week in July under the Token Metrics Insight. So if you're a customer, make sure you're tuned in on your inbox. Make sure the emails are not going into spam. Make sure everything is on point, because July could be a big month, good or bad, right? So definitely make sure you have the insights with Token Metrics. And if you're watching this on YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, wherever, make sure you also have alerts turned on so that you know when we're live. All right. So curious to see what people think. Let us know what you think. Do you think we're going into a trap in July? Let us know down in the comments below. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. Somebody's asking me to put on a green screen shirt. Then you guys will just see my head. Hey, what's up, Alice? Great to have you here. All right, thank you all for the patience. Yeah, so we're doing this stream in Zoom because of the issues. So if you have any questions to submit for the AMA, go to menti.com. That's menti.com. Use the code 282490. That's 282490 to submit your questions. And as you can see, I am back on the moon officially doing the live stream on the moon, and Bill is on the other moon. They're basically, no, actually, Bill's on a different planet, so I'm on the moon behind Bill. All right, but all right. With that being said, I think let's hop into cryptotherapy. So let's do some technical analysis on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and alts.
Okay, let me get there.
All right. As
Okay.
Bill is pulling up the charts. Okay, there we go. That was fast.
All right. So let's start with the good news. The good news is that Bitcoin isn't exactly trading like it's falling apart, right? It's kind of holding in. All right. So it's not like, oh my God. But this chart does show that in July of 2019 and July of 2018 that, Bitcoin was either very choppy or it went down. Okay. So really not anything going on here that makes me say, wow, I love this. Ethereum is kind of the same way, right? It's sitting here around 220. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look bad. Where it looks bad is on our pricing prediction models. Okay. So let's see if we can go to that. Give me a moment while I switch to.
Okay, no worries.
Okay. So here comes Token Metrics. Okay. This is the price prediction model for Bitcoin Cash. Okay. Now, I don't know. I have kind of a joke. Like, if you think something's going down, when in doubt, pick on Bitcoin Cash. It's not fair, but it's just kind of how I do it. Right. So this is kind of showing that we're 3 days away from a move from 270 to 160. Okay.
Now, caveat though, however, right, to chime in here, the price prediction models are based purely on pricing data. So this is not looking at fundamentals, technology, right, or anything else, just looking purely at the charts. And as usual, this is just a tool, but it's not the only tool in the toolbox, right? Because I know some people out there, some customers as well, who only look at price predictions. And I think that's a wrong approach to invest or trade. This is just merely a tool that should be a tool as part of your checklist. All right, go ahead, Bill.
Right. So this is a good point, right? I use this as like a tiebreaker. Like, I do my own work and then I say, okay, what does the computer say? Okay. So here's Ethereum. Okay. Not a very pretty picture. Okay. So here's how I would break this down. The seasonals are terrible. The price prediction models are terrible. Every day that Bitcoin can hang in there, I guess you could consider that a positive, considering there's a lot of things saying it should be an avalanche lower, right? However, given all these things, given the tiebreaker, especially with the AI, I just think you have to be careful, right? Now, let's go back. Let's go back to DeFi. Okay, and let's talk about that. All right. Now, when I'm looking at things like, okay, so here's Kyber. Okay. Now, we've done this talk where we've mentioned Head and Shoulders bottoms. We've written a lot about this in our newsletter. Okay. Kyber is one of these things where it's sort of broken out. So the formation has been triggered and it's done things to validate the formation, which is a nice way of saying that Kyber can moon the way AVE and REN and some of these other markets did, some of these other coins. Okay. Kava is kind of the same way. Kava is not as good as Kyber, but it's sort of getting there. So that's a nice way of saying that, you know, DeFi, the longer Bitcoin just sits here, it's a new day to take advantage of these trading opportunities in alts. Okay. I think that's how you do it, right? Because if you wake up and Bitcoin is not down, then you can trade alts, right? All right. Now, Zilliqua, right? We talked about this. We talked about, you know, this thing mooned. And then I said, okay, well, there's always a dip. Well, guess what? Zilliqua came back to its 50% retracement, which is a nice way of saying it had a healthy correction. Okay. Right to a very important level. So to the extent that you like these things, I know it's up 10% today, but I do think if Bitcoin is stable, you can trade these alts from the long side. If you wake up and you see Bitcoin down 5%, hedge what you can and walk away.
All right. Well said. Well said. All right. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Okay. Let's check in here with the audience and see how we're doing. Gareth says, I love me some cryptotherapy. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate the good words. Bill's amazing with that. Okay. Minty code, we've shared that. Minty code is 282490. That's 282490. All right. All right. Somebody on Twitter is saying, what do you think of Plan B's stock to flow? So we have covered that in some past videos and live streams as well. But Bill, have you been looking at stock to flow recently?
Honestly, no. I'd like to give him a more significant answer. I've really been paying attention to the seasonals. You know, I know that the stock to flow model is pretty bullish. And who knows, that may be what's holding up Bitcoin. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Crypto Kiwi says good review. I'm bearish short term as well. Thank you. I'm guessing Crypto Kiwi is down in New Zealand. Crypto family down there is amazing. Okay. All right. So let's move on here. We do have a crypto showdown that I did want to share with the audience. Let me just give me a second here. Okay. All right, so crypto showdown. So as usual, we've now begun a new segment where we ask you to pick between two coins, two cryptocurrencies, typically altcoins. So last week we had some DeFi coins, I believe. This week, the two coins are storage. So for those who know, I was an investor in Filecoin back in 2017, and it seems like forever, but now they're finally planning to launch their network, and I believe, yeah, sometime in August. So it's been pretty much 3 years. It's been forever. They're now launching. So Filecoin is a storage protocol, and SIA is also a storage protocol. So the question is, if you have to choose between these two coins, which one do you think has a better future? Is it Filecoin? Is it SIA? Let us know down in the comments below. Also, go to minty.com and vote. This is happening live. So Minty code is 282490. Bill, could you pull up maybe some TA? I think it's called SIA. I think it's called Is it SIA or some other?
Right. It's
just type that in.
It's SC. I have it right here.
SC. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
People are saying Filecoin. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So this is something very interesting that, that altcoins like to do. Okay. So I'm going to draw on this a little bit. They like to go up and then kind of retrace. I don't know if you can see how, I won't go into like the deeper meaning of these dotted lines, but when I see something like this stop on one of the dotted lines, I go, yeah, that's pretty interesting, right?
Textbook. No.
Okay, almost, right? Now, so this looks like something that's going to try to trend up, okay? This may be the better draw. So maybe it's going to base here and then make a new high for the move. Now, if you look at this is zoomed in. If you look at how much upside these things have, okay,
wow.
It's just, it can be just gigantic. So, I think what Ian is saying is in order to have a full alt season, you've got to have like multiple things. It can't be just DeFi, right? So to the extent anything like this can take off and give you another sort of theme in the market or another place to speculate with your BTC, all the better. Now, I believe this is Filecoin. Okay. I don't know. Is this brand new?
So those are IOUs. Those are kind of like futures. So it's not launched yet, but on Poloniex, it is being treated as an IOU.
Got it.
So
okay,
that's pretty interesting.
It's yeah, I mean they've pretty much done nothing but sell these things, but that's not a typical, I guess, of a futures contract where people are looking to cash in. So I on that first chart, I would say it's the same thing as DeFi. You buy the dip until it doesn't work anymore. Right? Because if Bitcoin doesn't crack, right? Let's flip our whole theme around. Let's say Bitcoin doesn't crack and you're buying the dips in these DeFi or even the storage coins, right? You could be making 20, 30% returns a week. So every day that there's no calamity in Bitcoin is an opportunity in alts. Now, again, just keep in mind, the stock market will open and vote on what it thinks about, the V-shaped recovery. There's a lot of excess there. That's the biggest problem. That's the biggest risk to crypto.
Yeah, so I'll just chime in. All I know is recently I've been getting lots and lots of interest in Filecoin. Now, I mean, as an investor, I know I believe once they launch their network, our tokens are still vested for 6 months. So, I mean, even if we want to sell, we can't. But there are lots of people inside my network who have been trying to buy some Filecoin OTC, right? So kind of crypto family offices, crypto funds, and then other people have an interest in possibly mining Filecoin. I believe that they also plan to create some kind of device or some kind of hardware device similar to Helium, but I think for storage, where people pretty much, I think, buy some kind of hard drive or physical device to store on data. Let me see if I can find the device. Now, just give me 1 second. I think this might be on the website. Okay, so let me share my screen here. So this is actually the first time I've really pulled this up. So Filecoin.io/store. So use Filecoin to store and retrieve your data. So it looks like they want people to have some kind of physical device where they can basically build this decentralized storage. And I think it's pretty interesting. I'm not sure whether this is still just an idea or whether they've actually built something that's already good to go. I don't believe so. I think it's still pretty early stage. But yeah, I think definitely worth keeping an eye on. Now, quite frankly, when I invested back in 2017, I was bullish on the project and on the technology because this comes from the team that has built IPFS. And that's been the most widely adopted decentralized storage out there at the moment. So pretty much Filecoin, whenever it launches, we think it's going to have a larger market cap and just be a better project in general than all those other crypto storage products that have come before it, such as Sia Coin, such as Storage, such as Bluzelle, However, the issue was they raised a ton of money. They raised $250,000, I believe, back in 2017. So the question is, will they maintain that valuation once they launch? Because if they launch with that kind of valuation, let me just pull this up here. That would basically put them in the top 25 market cap. Let me take a look. So $250,000 valuation would put it basically in the top 40 market cap. But I mean, in a way, it is possible. Seeing what Compound did, Compound launched at about $500 million, then went all the way to, I think at one point, almost 1.5, or basically above 1 billion. So Compound now is at 620 million. So when Filecoin launches, I could definitely see it being around there. So pretty much, let's say top 40 to top 25 market cap, I think definitely does makes sense. So I think we'll basically be in the same category. I think if you had to think, maybe, okay, what's the most bullish we could be on Filecoin? Possibly top 20, but I think I don't really see it getting into top 10 territory. I mean, I see here, actually, surprisingly, crypto.com is now top 10 market cap. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, that project came out of nowhere and has been blowing up. But in terms of my prediction or projection for Filecoin, I could see it being best case, top 15, top 20 market cap. Worst case, I would say top 50, but I'll be shocked if it drops out of the top 50 market cap. I think a good range would be between 25 and 35, 40 market cap range for Filecoin. I mean, technology is good. Everything is good. We do plan to put out an in-depth report on Filecoin. So to our customers, make sure you have the emails turned on and everything. And then the rating will also be put into Token Metrics by the time it launches in August. With that being said, anybody bullish or bearish on Filecoin, let us know down in the comments below. Okay, let's check in here with our audience and see how we're doing. Please no helium. I'm not sure I quite understand. Okay, so somebody on Twitter, Periscope, InstaFan says almost 50% of tokens already staked, with rewards coming any day. Yeah, so I'm not sure how that happens, because I mean, we haven't received our tokens yet. So I mean, how do we even stake? So I'm not sure where those numbers are coming from. I do know early on, most of the tokens will be illiquid, right? So whenever they launch, most investors will have 6 months or longer lockup. As mentioned, ours is 6 months. So then most of the tokens that will enter the supply will be tokens coming from people who are, from either developers or from miners. So, okay, somebody says, I think Pantera Capital has a stake in Filecoin. Yeah. I mean, so almost all the big crypto VCs have a stake in Filecoin. I mean, so if Filecoin can pull a Compound, I mean, that would be the best. that would change everything. Okay, all right. Let's continue on to the next topic. Actually, sorry, I forgot. We still have our crypto showdown. Okay, so, and the winner from our audience is Filecoin. So people think Filecoin has better potential. So I think that's not really a big debate. I think just based on the adoption. But I mean, Saya has been around for a while. I used to own some back in 2017, but I think they messed up when they tried to get into hardware. I don't think that has really panned out too well for them. But I mean, hey, they're still doing pretty well. Coinbase is exploring listing them. So that definitely does give it some potential upside. But all right, so there we go. Okay, going on to the next topic. Let me just take a look here. Okay, so next topic coming from our forum. So if you haven't yet already, go to forum.tokenmetrics.com to join. Okay, and I see we already have some two posts here. Okay, so somebody's asking for us to take a look at Telor. So go to our forum to communicate with our community. We are getting more active on there. So taking a question from our community here. So somebody had a question about what are the best low market cap coins and how can somebody find them using Token Metrics? So if I just quickly dive into this. So if you go to tokenmetrics.com, right, this is basically our list. And let's say you want to go dumpster diving to find that next 100x altcoin. How would you do it with Token Metrics? Well, this is what Token Metrics was designed for, just for this, because as a low cap investor, you want to find those hidden gems, but you want to make sure you're finding value. So the first thing I would do is first add a filter for value. So let's say greater than 80% for fundamentals. And let's add a grade for greater than, sorry, this sometimes is buggy, and technology greater than 80%. Right, so this pretty much goes through and filters out and only gives us projects that are high value for a value investor long term. Okay, then next thing I would do is pretty much just sort this based on market cap. So looking at this, at this point it's saying Pax Gold, Matic, 0x. Okay, so all these are good, but the market cap is not that great. So let's reset it. Let's not be as choosy. Let's just say I only want to look at market cap less than or equal to 10 million. Now be careful for this. Don't put in any commas or any other characters, only numbers. Okay, so now it's only showing us product with a market cap 10 million or less. And now if we go here and sort, it's basically saying in terms of projects that we've gone through and rated, those that have the best ratings, I mean, pretty much they're all pretty bad, honestly. The highest scoring one is Chromia at 66%. Then we have Metaverse, we have Cartesi, that was the recent Binance IEO. We have Constellation. So maybe let's change this to, let's do 30 million. And let me sort this again. So now we have Origin Protocol, Seal, Nebulous. We have Lumen here, Orchid. So yeah, it's definitely pretty interesting. But this in general is how somebody could use Token Metrics to find the best low market cap coins. But in general, all the coins right now in low market cap haven't really, I mean, they don't really have the best of grades. All the good ones that had good grades. So if we reset this filter, let me just go here. If we reset the filter and go back here, right? All the good ones, they've already been moving, right? Like Matic has been moving, Blockstack has been moving. So we've kind of been in a mini alt season. Now, I do find it interesting. Maybe Bill could also chime in here. Pax Gold, which is a cryptocurrency backed by gold, is now back into the Token Metrics top 10. So I think maybe it's telling us something that, I mean, equities and crypto maybe in general or Bitcoin, having some exposure to gold now makes sense, because last time Pax Gold was in our top 10 was back in March when equities and everything pretty much crashed. So then it went out of the top 20, even top 30 at one point, I think. But now that it's back in the top 10, in a way, it's telling us that having some exposure to gold right now could be a good sign, maybe an impending trap, as mentioned earlier. What's your take on that, Bill?
Okay, well, clearly precious metals are going to be something that, you know, is going to continue to gain interest, okay? Because all this printing of money is going to drive institutions who have been dying to get gold higher, okay? So gold is going to do very well, okay? I actually think silver could do just as well. Now, so yeah, yes, of course, it makes sense for this thing to creep higher. Now, you know, if anyone's interested, I can show you how I did my Token Metrics dumpster diving. I don't know if the boss is interested in that or not.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So my father was a stockbroker from 1974 to 2000. And stocks used to be rated from A to F. And he used to say, sell the A's and buy the D's, because the D's are where the upside is. Now, I don't know anything about most of these tokens, but what I did do was I said monthly TA is either very bullish, or neutral, right? Okay. And then I just said, give me a market cap of less than 15 million. And I just blew up my whole filter. All right. So let's try it again. Let's see if I can do it on the air. So, okay, I'm looking for TA that's either bullish, very bullish, okay, or let's take a chance and say even bearish. Let's take out very bullish so we don't buy the high. Okay. Then we're going to say market cap, okay, is going to be less than or equal to 15 million. Let's try it one more time.
Did you hit apply? Okay, I think that it worked now. Yeah, I think you just have to wait.
There we go.
Okay, just click out of it.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
All right, is that 15 million that I've got there? All right, so here's what I'm trying to do. I'm not making for very good TV here, but what I'm trying to do is find low cap coins that have decent technical analysis scores. So it looks like what I tried to do was a fail. Ian did it better, but I said, okay, look at everything.
That worked, though.
It did work?
Yeah, because you had helium in there, and that's definitely low cap. Because yeah, so just now go and sort it by grade. Is that what you're trying to do? By grade or market cap? How do you want it to sort by?
Right, I wanted to sort it by market cap. So can I click over here?
Just click the column. Okay, so maybe that didn't work. Not sure why, but here I can try and doing it on my end. So you wanted to sort by 15 million?
Right. So I wanted 15 million market cap with neutral to, sort of like lukewarm technicals, neutral, bearish, slightly bullish.
So I've done this here in mine. So market cap,
right,
less than equal 15 million.
Okay.
And then TA, you said bullish, neutral, and bearish.
Bearish, right.
All right. So that in a way gives us the same list. So Chromia, Metaverse, Solana. So pretty much you kind of factor in the TA as well, which makes sense.
Right. And actually I was only using TA just to be a Houston-based cowboy. I wasn't taking anything else into account other than TA. And then what I would do from there is research the charts and see, what's got a little bit of upside momentum or potentially a sort of like a basing formation. Yeah.
Now, so you mentioned you don't really check for very bullish. Now that's interesting. Basically, that's kind of almost peaked in a way, you think?
Right. When I'm dumpster diving. Right.
Now, one thing I would add on is, so this would be for a trade, correct?
Right. I mean, this is something you do for a trade, or if you just had money and, you couldn't go to Las Vegas. So you took the money that you were going to lose in Las Vegas and try to find a super low cap coin to just take a shot on.
I think that's definitely a good thing to kind of differentiate. So those strategies for trading. So mine was more for long-term value investing, but even then the scores were, as Bill mentioned, pretty low. So it's essentially dumpster diving. But if you're looking for a quick trade, I would turn on the trader switch because the ratings are different for that. So if we turn this on and we keep the TA on, bullish, neutral, and bearish, this gives us kind of the same list. So we have Metaverse. So Metaverse looks like the one with a market cap of about 8 million. Then some other coins I've not really heard of, Educare, Solana, Newton FTX token. That's the futures exchange. Chromia, Cartesi, Telcoin. So these are definitely ones to look into, but all these are bearish. So nothing is really bullish at the moment, except at this point, Metaverse. So Metaverse could be the trade. Are you able to pull up the TA for that, Bill?
Sure. Let me see if I can.
Hey, what's up, Dragon Ball Crypto? Great to have you on. Late appearance. Alpha Diallo, what's up?
Okay, so here comes the chart. Try not to laugh. Okay, so here's the Metaverse chart. Okay, nothing
That's
has
not looking
happened.
too good.
Nothing has happened. Okay, so, but what I think is always interesting about Token Metrics is, you know, if Token Metrics is highlighting Metaverse, somebody came in right there and decided it was cheap and bought some. Now, it hasn't gone anywhere since, but it hasn't taken out the lows, right? So again, if you were a gambler and you followed the whole idea of the bigger the base, the higher in the space, this could be something you look at, right? You know, we talk more about investing in big macro themes, and, you know, we just don't do a lot of S coins. I'm not advocating, you know, but the thing is, you know, you can use the token metric system. You know, I was using Safari, so maybe that's why it was a fail, at least on the functionality. But you can use it because if Token Metrics likes that coin, it's actually the AI has discovered it before the humans have. So for what that's worth, right? Again, this is for taking a shot, not for investing for college.
Right. Now, one thing to also add into that. So some customers of ours or people in general will see Token Metrics, for example, saying that it's bullish on Metaverse. Then they'll go to the charts and they'll say, like, this is down like 90%. Why is it bullish? Right. But I think you have to kind of reframe and think and look at things differently if you're trying to get in before anybody else gets in. Right. Because some people come in with the notion of, if Token Metrics says something is bullish, it should be already up like 20%. And that way, but that's called buying the top. Token Metrics is not a tool to help people buy the top, right? It's a tool to help people buy bottoms and buy the dip. And by definition, it's not, those are just blood in the street type days. That's when the market is red. That's when the price is down. So I think that's something we're also working in terms of educating some of our customers, right? Because some of them might be new investors or traders who have never done trading or investing before, and they're used to, or they have the expectations of buying crypto when everything is green and kosher. But that's not the ideal time to buy, because, I mean, if you go back in history in crypto, people who bought Bitcoin at 20,000, I mean, that's still hurting right now. Right? So you definitely want to buy the dips.
Right. The way I like to say it is our AI, it really doesn't FOMO. It doesn't necessarily, I mean, it'll pick up on an uptrend, but it won't tell you to jump in on FOMO. And sometimes what it does is it finds those hidden gems that, you know, are doing things and that are basing for a bigger move. Right. This is just what I've noticed from using it. So our AI is pretty smart when it comes to reading charts for value investors.
Yeah. And we're also working on launching indices on our ratings, which will make it a lot easier for people to know how to really invest or trade using our ratings. And I think once we launch them, at this point, it looks like probably sometime in July, everything is going to be a lot easier for people to understand. And we also do plan to make some big changes on the platform. Probably, I would say by the end of the year. We do have plans to make new changes to the entire user interface and experience. So stay tuned for that. With that being said, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Okay. Much love from TaxFile. Okay. Thank you, Richard. people talking about Magic Johnson. I'm not sure how what he has to do with crypto. The comments on here sometimes are pretty interesting. Okay, so yeah, so Imran, yes, there are some updates coming, I would say by the end of the year. Stay tuned. Okay, so let us now go to the AMA. Let me just take a look here. Okay, so let's, all right, so question from the audience. Hi, Ian, are DeFi-based products the new honey trap, like ICOs back in 2017? So is DeFi a trap? Good question. I think it's still too early to be a trap, but I mean, it is looking like DeFi is going to be the new bubble. I could see DeFi being the catalyst that takes Ethereum past its all-time high and takes all these other altcoins with it as well, or actually probably even takes all the other altcoins to the all-time highs a lot faster than Ethereum, because there've been several alts, most of them DeFi, that have already surpassed their all-time highs already. So I think DeFi is definitely something to keep an eye on, but kind of like with ICOs, regulators haven't really stepped in to kind of chime in and share their opinions on how DeFi handles compliance, KYC, AML, all that. And I think it's going to be very interesting when they do. But at this point, I think what most products are trying to rely on is not being security, right? So for example, with Compound has decentralized their token. So I think what could possibly work if all these other DeFi protocols and tokens follow the same path as Compound and become decentralized, basically kind of like what the SEC has said about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin and Ethereum can be traded on public markets now, but they're not viewed as securities. So because now they're fully decentralized. So if this is the pathway to issuing a DeFi token where the community owns it, they own the majority, there isn't really like a token sale per se that is issued out to the community, and just for governance, the platform and product is already built. If that's the model to circumnavigate having to deal with regulators, oh man, I think to the moon and beyond. Bill, what's your take?
All right, a couple things. So you'll know DeFi is for real if it can survive the first big dip in the crypto market overall without getting wrecked, right? So DeFi has been able to go up while Bitcoin's hanging out. The question is, how does DeFi behave if there's a correction in the broader crypto market? I don't know the answer to that yet. Now, again, going back to things my dad used to say, I can understand how people would be worried about a bubble in DeFi. But what we're being asked here is, it says, he used to say, when people ask me when to sell, buy. And when people ask me when to buy, sell. Okay. So I understand that in DeFi, there may be this fear that it's ICO part 2. Okay. For the moment, I'm going to fade that and just say, just keep buying the dips until you're wrong. Right. Because again, is your house good collateral? Is your commercial real estate good collateral? Is our Uncle Sam's bonds good collateral? Right. You got to consider the bigger picture. I understand what this reader is saying. I respect it, but when everyone's afraid to buy DeFi, buy DeFi. Right? when nobody's afraid, everyone's like, oh, this is free money, then get out.
Yeah, I think that's well said. So if we pull up here, this is DeFiPulse.com. In a way, it's kind of like the coin market cap for DeFi. So DeFi now is at $1.64 billion in terms of total value locked up. So back in April, it was 644 million. So they've added $1 billion since April. I mean, that's pretty insane. So I think it is approaching scary territory. But I would say it also depends on how you're using DeFi. If you're just putting your stablecoin, your Tether, your DAI, whatever, and just lending that out to get interest, then there isn't really that much risk. But if you're doing it with leverage, then you should definitely be cautious. Because I mean, I myself don't really advocate leverage, especially for crypto, because crypto is very volatile, and even professionals get wrecked. This year, back in March, Adaptive Capital, one of the more well-known crypto funds, went belly under, right? Or belly up is a term, I believe, right? Because on one day, when they least expected it, despite all the technology that they had, everything just got wiped out because their models didn't really predict or know what would happen with equities, with the liquidity risk and the rush to liquidity. And even on Wall Street, right? But back in 1998, long-term capital management, right? They had all the quants in the world, people from Harvard and PhDs, and they got wrecked and had to basically close. So leverage, I mean, leverage is a drug, and with all drugs, best thing to do is to stay drug free, in my opinion. All right, let us know what you think down in the comments below. All right, so if you have any questions you would like to submit, go to menti.com, menti.com. Use the code 282490. That's 282490. Okay, so moving on to the next question. Okay, so this question is Bitcoin dominance a problem for us? Okay, well, I think depends who us is. If you mean people in altcoins, or do you mean people who are Bitcoin maximalists? But I think in general, I think it's good for Bitcoin dominance to go lower, because the market should not just be Bitcoin. That's kind of my take. I know it's not the take for Bitcoin maximalists out there, but maybe Bill could pull up the dominance chart and we see how that's going. I know we did cover that last week as well, where those some pretty interesting changes happening.
Right. Okay. So it's coming right up here. Here it comes. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out how to best look at this. Okay. And one of the things that I was doing was drawing this flag pattern. Okay. And there's a saying in technical analysis that flags fly at half mast. Okay. That means you go up, like over here, you make a flag, and then you go up again. Now, I know that we talked about this, and I know that I'm the answer man, and I'm supposed to have an answer no matter what. So when you're sitting in the middle of a formation like this, I don't have an immediate answer, okay? This looks like, to me, when I look at this, I say, okay, what does it mean? If Bitcoin dominance went up, what would you have in the crypto market? Well, you basically have Bitcoin, and you'd have a lot of much smaller alts, right? Probably DeFi and things like that, and stuff like, you know, Ethereum would still be around, but there'd be a lot of stuff, a lot of things in the top 20 market cap that would reorder itself, right? So Bitcoin would become dominant, because a lot of high market cap coins, like the one I like to pick on, Bitcoin Cash, might decline in value a lot, right? So that's where that theme from earlier in the show came from. I just sort of backed out the logic. Now, for alt players, obviously we would love it if Bitcoin dominance just tanked, right? Because that means Ethereum is leading alts higher, right? But with Bitcoin dominance in kind of the middle of a range, I can only give you choice A and choice B. Choice A is, you know, Bitcoin and small alts rise and the whole market cap chart reorganizes itself. Or B, you know, Ethereum moons and takes alts with it.
All right. So
if it wasn't July, I would pick choice B, but it's July.
Yeah. So quick comment here from James. DeFi goes up. Blessings come down. Well said. Well said. All right. Cool. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Okay. So we have Big Zulu. It says, I have the investor plan and hardly log in. Well, I mean, Big Zulu, I would say, I mean, so he's talking about he's not having some success with Token Metrics. I mean, I would say, I mean, reach out to us on customer support, or just even me directly, and I'll walk you through the platform, because I mean, you should be making money with Token Metrics. I mean, if you're a customer not making money, then I think maybe the ways for us to help you better take advantage of the platform, because here you bring up people like Chico Crypto and Nugget News. I mean, I don't know what cryptocurrencies they've really been talking about, but I mean, Chico Crypto, I have kind of followed just from people talking about him. But I think lots of the coins he talks about, in my opinion, are not really fundamentally sound, right? But I think the best showcase of Token Metrics, which is why our customer base doubled last month, I mean, meaning that our growth went up 100%, was how everything panned out with the Bitcoin halving. But prior to that, the crash, right? So when Bitcoin dropped below $4,000, Token Metrics had the highest rating it's ever given for Bitcoin, basically saying buy the dip. And people who bought Bitcoin below 4,000, and then our ratings basically had Bitcoin in the top 10 all the way till 2 days before the halving. And then Bitcoin dropped out the top 10, basically saying take profits. And that was, in our opinion, as textbook as it gets, to basically buy the dip and sell the top, because Bitcoin hasn't really gone above 10,000 since the halving, right? I mean, so, I mean, regardless of what other people might say about Token Metrics, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, show me somebody who played the halving much better than that, right? Plus, we've also had lots of other winners and picks. I mean, almost every single month there've been picks, right? So I think definitely go to our channel and just type in Token Metrics trading. So we have lots of videos showing you how to leverage Token Metrics to trade, and then we also have the live stream here as well. I mean, because leverage the community and the tutorials we have in general, I would say is the best way. And if that's not enough, reach out to customer support, and we'll also help you out. All right. Okay, so going on to the next question. Okay, so next question is, application changes the value investor top 15 fairly often. Therefore, is it safe to assume if we pick the top 11, at least half will no longer be a valid investment? Okay, good question. Let me just pull this up here. So one thing we are working on, so basically if we go to Token Metrics, if we go back here, so let me just take off all these filters here. Okay, and this is, so right now we're looking, so if we go to Value Investor, for example, right? So Value Investor is meant to be current ratings at this point in time, right? So the reason why they still change is because we also factor technical analysis into it. Now, the question is, why should somebody be bothered with TA if they're investing for the long term? Good question. Because you're trying to get something that's undervalued and cheap. Because, for example, best example, Bitcoin has great fundamentals, but buying Bitcoin at 20,000 back in 2017 was not the way to go, right? That would still leave you underwater today, right? So we want our customers to avoid doing that. And we help them avoid doing that by factoring in TA into their long-term investing, right? So as a result, I think honestly, if you're a value investor, best time frame is still having active portfolio management, because crypto is very volatile. So I would say maybe quarterly, maybe every quarter you rebalance your portfolio. So right now, what we're working on with the indices is basically taking all the ratings we have and maybe even expanding out the indices to having top 30 ranked tokens into each index, and then basically using a model called Blacklit, right? So for the quants out there, basically what happens is we take basically the market cap weights, and then we also factor in our own opinions or views to kind of create this more optimum way of viewing the market. So the entire premise on this, without getting too technical, is that the market cap weights basically assume that the market has a normal distribution. But looking at the data, the markets aren't really, they don't really follow a normal distribution. So one way to kind of change that is by adding in our own ratings as those views. So that's what we're currently working on. We have some great people on our team. We just recently added somebody who's a financial engineer from Columbia University who's been helping us with that. This guy is amazing. But anyway, the entire premise is you have to factor in other data points, in our opinion. And I know Bill in the past has talked about active portfolio management. Bill, do you kind of want to chime in why that's good?
Sure. So, the traditional financial literature for equity says you just buy it and hold it, and it'll go down 10% from time to time, and then the Fed will do something and it'll just keep going up. That's what equities have done for quite a while, right? Minus the 2008 events. Now in crypto, there can be 30% or 40% or 60% corrections out of nowhere, right? Look at what happened in Matic last year. First, it was the only thing going up in the whole market, and then one day it disappeared. So when we talk about active portfolio management, we say, hey, if you've had a big winner, right? If you've made a bunch of money and you look at your screen and you say, wow, I've made a lot of money in this, sell. Right? Active portfolio management means sometimes, particularly when you've made a lot of money, okay, you've got to take it and look to buy a dip or wait, because your crypto can gyrate 50%, right? I mean, it can go from 9,000 to 4,000 in a week. So that requires you to pay attention more than what they would call a passive strategy, like the one I described in equities. So to sum it up, in an active portfolio, you might have to trade 6 to 10 times a year, minimum, I would think, right? Not more than 20, but you're going to have to do at least 5 to 10 trades. In a passive strategy, you do 0.
All right, well said, well said. Let us know what you think about that down in the comments below. Okay, let's go back to the AMA. Okay, so people asking about my helium antenna. Okay, all right. So let me just see if I can pull this up here. Just give me 1 second. I just want to make sure. So somebody's joking, saying that my helium antenna is what's messing up my signal. I mean, hey, maybe that's it. Maybe the helium antenna is what's messing up my connection with the live streams. Let me take a look here and pull it up. Okay, so, but actually, I'm still having issues with my antenna. I'm not sure if it's because nobody is around here, but I mean, I've not really seen any change at all in all the antennas I have. I mean, I know the furthest person from me is about 5 to 7 miles, but still, I mean, I was expecting to be making money by now. Well, I'm still making some money, but I was expecting to be making a lot more money, because if I pull up my Helium app with a new antenna, it's been installed for about a day and a half now. There's been no change at all for me. So let me just log in here. Yeah, so there's been no change at all, which is pretty shocking. So this antenna that I've added, let me share this. Just give me a second. So the one I got is called, I bought this on djkey.com, and this is the model OMB.915.B08F21. This is 8 dBi, I believe. Yeah, 8 dBi. There's some others out there that are 9 dBi, but this was the one I got that had a decent price. This is $150, basically about $160. So definitely not cheap. But I'm trying to invest in this to make some money long term. So for those who follow me on Twitter, I did post a picture of this. Let me pull up my Twitter. And if you're not, okay, that's not the one. Okay, so if you're not following me on Twitter, make sure you follow me. Okay, so this is the one I was talking about. Okay, that's not it. Not sure what happened here. Yeah, so this is about 5 feet tall. I mean, so it's a real antenna. So actually, yeah, you know what? I think somebody might be onto something. This might be what's messing up my Wi-Fi signal. But I mean, my Wi-Fi signal is 5 gigahertz. This is 920, or rather 915 megahertz. So technically, it shouldn't mess up. But maybe there is some kind of interference happening. Maybe that's why. Then somebody says it's a pole. But so I had to get this, but I also had to buy some adapters off of Amazon. So if I pull up Amazon.com, let me see what adapters they were. I think, let me see. LoRa antenna adapter, something like that. Yeah, I bought a pack. I'm not sure which pack it was, because I'm doing this. Yeah, sorry. So it's a SMA, because this is an N-type female mount. So I think I went in here and just typed this N-type female to SMA adapter, because the Helium has the SMA adapter. Let me see. Yeah, I think it might have been, it was a pack of 4. But pretty much what you do is you take this N-type female, and then I had to take 2 adapters. Then you find out what adapter the Helium has. Yeah, I think something like this should work. So N-type female to SMA male. So I basically just took 2 of these and I just connected them to, so I connect one to the antenna here, to the end. Then I add a second one to the end, and that connects into the Helium. But I mean, so far, no difference in terms of me making more money. And I think it's just because I'm just way too far out and there's nobody near me. I have reached out to the Helium support to see if they give me any advice. But at this point, it seems I'm just in the middle of nowhere. I mean, because this, I've been told, should be able to get me about 5 to 7 miles. So I would expect to start earning challenges on the network. Right now, it's only earning tokens online. So not sure exactly what's going on here. But yeah, I mean, so that's kind of what I've been doing with my antenna. Everything has just been an experiment. I also did buy a magnetic mount. I don't have the pi plate, so maybe that plays a factor. But I got a magnetic mount for this Omni antenna. But if you just go to the Helium Slack channel, and there's a sub channel for the antenna. That's basically where I would say anybody who wants to upgrade the antenna should go for help, because they are very helpful. And just tell them Token Metrics told you to go there. But yeah, anybody else with any other comments or thoughts or help in terms of what they're doing with the antenna, feel free to chime in down below. Because somebody says, I've got 3 and might buy another 1 or 2. All are earning great, but some locations are much better than others. Okay, that's Barry. Okay, put your hotspot near your window as close as possible for max rewards. Okay, so Barry says, same with mine, no change in earnings after swapping antennas. Yeah, so I think it's just my geography. Where I am is not really the best place to be earning. Maybe I should move to New York or San Francisco. All right, so that's enough about helium antennas. Let's go back to the AMA. Okay, so let me just share this. Hey Ian, very OG here since the MS videos days. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. You changed my life with ICOs. Thank you. You're welcome. I would recommend you look into Polkadot and Kusama, both made by Ethereum co-founder and CTO Gavin, and launching end of year. So we have looked into Polkadot. Polkadot is on Token Metrics. So if you just go there and type that in, it is there. Technology is good. Fundamentals could be better. Kusama, we've not really looked much into it. I believe that's some kind of implementation of Polkadot, something like that. I did hear that it is trading, I think, on KuCoin and some other exchanges, but we haven't really looked too much into it. Not really sure what the main differences are. But Polkadot is already on Token Metrics. Bill, are there any charts on Polkadot?
I just looked. I think the answer is no.
Okay, so that's unfortunate. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Okay, hello Ian and Mike. I think it means Ian and Bill. Why is VeChain not in? Yeah, I think that's VeChain, not in the top 10 in CoinMarketCap. VeChain is a unique and has leadership in supply chain. Well, I mean, if it's not in the top 10, it just means nobody's buying it to the top 10, right? I think the market just does not believe it's a top 10 token at this point in time. But obviously, the market is not always right, right? Actually, the market is almost always wrong in a way, right? That's why markets move and change a lot. Anything to add to that, Bill?
Sure, I can pull up the chart.
Okay.
Okay, so when I look at VeChain, okay, these kind of charts, these kind of coins, they have to prove themselves, right? You know, you would come up to this like gray rectangle, this thin gray rectangle, and every time it gets to this point, it gets dumped, right? So the answer to why isn't a top market coin, it's because every time it goes up here, people sell. Now, if you can burst up here, like get in this area, okay, get above this gray rectangle, that means something has changed for VeChain, okay? So the person asking the question is, I get it. You're like, hey, wait a minute. The fundamentals for this thing are great. You know, what's the problem? Well, the problem is that at the moment, the sellers are in charge. But this person who's asking this question has a view, and he's like, well, I think it's going to break resistance. I had this conversation with somebody in our group about REN. I was like, well, you know, REN looks like there's some resistance, but if it breaks through, it's going to go. And that's what it did, right? And this person knew a lot more about REN than I did, just like this person seems to know the fundamentals of VeChain. So the answer to his question is you just have to wait for bulls to take charge on the charts.
All right. Thank you, Bill. That was great. Let us know what you think about VeChain down in the comments below. Okay, let me find the next question here. Okay, quick question on the professional subscription. Do you get access to early sales and best coming picks? I mean, so professional plan, we don't do any token sales or pooling or anything like that. It's just pretty much getting more access to tokens on the platform to research, right? And then we do have bi-weekly calls. Basically every 2 weeks we have calls with Bill, myself, and our team, where Bill does TA analysis, market commentary, and we also share different products where I would say our team is doing research on for technology and fundamentals. And then we also have a private Telegram group as well. And it's really just kind of a good place to network with other people in the space as well. Okay, so thank you for that question. Let me find one other one. Okay, so here's a good one. All right. I think the crypto market is still coupled with the stock market. The second round of stimulus, if approved in July, will go out in August. This is when we will see BTC break 10K and put in the new sub. Not sure what that means. But yeah,
In other words, 10K will, I think he's saying 10K will go from being a ceiling to a floor.
Support. Listen, okay. I'm sorry.
Right. You know what, sir, whoever wrote this question, I would absolutely love that. In other words, if Uncle Sugar is going to hand out money or has to, right, then that may be what holds up Bitcoin in July. I'm really not interested in a 30% drop in Bitcoin in July. I'm not, right? It makes my job a lot harder, and it makes it hard on the crypto industry to deal with that kind of volatility. So, you know, stocks have factored a lot in. A lot, right? They have a lot of good news priced in. So I hope you're right. I don't know for sure. What I do know is if the government does hand out money and stocks are stable, Bitcoin can rocket through 10,000, because eventually all this printing is just it's gonna trigger natural demand for things like gold and Bitcoin. You know, a lot of people in crypto think that, oh, it has to be an apocalypse for the dollar for crypto to go up. No, it has to be just a steady, sustained dollar down move. All right. So, you know, I also think this individual's right in that crypto is, unfortunately, at the moment, very tied to equities. If everybody sells or everyone figures out in equities that this time is not different, you know, reference back to the things, you know, where Microsoft is worth more than the whole junk bond market. Yikes. That's keeping me up at night. So, you know, I hope the printing of money helps Bitcoin. In the meantime, we probably are at the mercy of stocks.
All right. I mean, interesting times we're in. Interesting times we're in. Okay. All right. Next question here. Ian and Bill, what is your take on the lengthening cycle theory? It looks like the next bull peak will take longer than expected. I think that 2020 and most of 2021 will still be accumulation phases. W. Okay. Basically, bull market is going to take longer than we think. I've not heard of the cycle theory myself. This is the first time I hear of it, so not quite familiar with it. But I mean, I have heard of bull markets before. Let me just see if I can quickly pull up anything on this. Okay, maybe not. So, okay, the question is, the next bull peak will take longer than expected. Now, I think when he says bull peak, he's basically talking about once we surpass all-time highs and basically go above that. So whether Bitcoin, Ethereum, I mean, that's possible. I mean, the market has been moving a lot slower than anybody anticipated, I would say, because the last all-time high was back December 2017. And we've been waiting 3 years, still nothing. So, I mean, are we going to have a new Bitcoin all-time high by the end of the year? I mean, I think it's definitely hard to say. But that doesn't mean people can't make money per se. But I mean, I would say in general, Bitcoin might not achieve a new all-time high, but there are other cryptocurrencies that could or have already achieved new all-time highs. So I think that also factors in. Bill, your take?
Okay, so when I read up on this, it's basically like it takes Bitcoin something like 4 years to build a base to go higher. Okay, you know, that's possible. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic that we haven't seen since 1918, so that may not be an environment where people want to like roll the dice and get involved in crypto. Okay. However, this pandemic also involves massive printing of money, right? So you have to kind of take that into account, right? In other words, this is a totally new environment. If nothing was happening, I'd say, yeah, we'd probably have to sit around and hang out. But, you know, the Fed printed 2.6 in a month, and they're going to continue to hand out stimulus checks. So, it may take until 2021 for it to sink in. I mean, we're definitely going to have to wait through July, right? We're going to be holding our breath for at least a month, and then we'll see after that.
All right. Well said. Well said. Thank you, Bill. Okay, let's find some other questions. Once again, if you have any questions, go to minty.com and the code is 282490. That's 282490. And if we're not able to get through all the questions, feel free to go to the forum at forum.tokenmetrics.com to post your questions there. And that way, you basically go and pick your question for the next live stream. Okay, so somebody says, I want some exposure to DeFi projects. What is the best one? Well, we already covered this in the last live stream, so I would recommend going to that or just watching a video we put up on our Token Metrics channel on YouTube. I just searched Token Metrics DeFi on YouTube, and we have a video. So I think it's about 5 to 10 minutes long on our top 5 DeFi projects. So I think that one we can already mark as answered. Let me. Okay, yeah, here's one. So this one is probably for Bill. So how do I become a day trader? Yeah, that's I mean, that one can dream for sure. But I would say before you even think about becoming a day trader, first understand one rule. Most day traders lose money. I mean, I would say more than half. I think it's about 65% of day traders lose money. Let me see if I can find the official stat. But I mean, yeah, most day traders lose money. So it's kind of like gambling. Most gamblers lose money. I would say it's like any skill in any industry. I mean, not everybody who plays basketball ends up turning into a professional NBA player, or whatever skill you have. Right? Anybody who plays guitar, not everybody turns into a rock star. Right. So in terms of day trading, not everybody is able to become a professional day trader. I say professional because meaning that's how you make your money. That's how you wake up, you trade, let's say 9 to 5, right? So not everybody can do that. Bill, your thoughts?
Yes, I would have many. So if you want to become a day trader, the first thing you need to buy is a notebook, right? And start to actually trade, writing down what you do. Yes, I know that's old school. Yes, I'm the guy with a pencil. I know. But you need to actually experience what it's like to write down winners and losers as you pretend to play the market. Okay. The second rule of a day trader, once you go live, is don't risk any more than 2% of your capital on any one trade. This way, if the trade's wrong, you live to fight another day. Okay. Now, third rule of day trading is don't quit your day job. Okay. If you're a day trader and you break even the first year, then you're a success. Then you're on your way. So you have 1 year to get to break even. My final thing is you would not, and this comes from a famous chartist, you would not watch the market all the time. You would not sit in front of a screen from 9 to 5. You would not wake up in the middle of the night to check your crypto positions. You would not. Okay. You have to be able to establish how to relax, breathe. Some guys surf, right? You have to manage your nervous system just as much as you have to learn about crypto. Okay. So those are the things I think that's the difference between the professionals and the guys that lose money.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Now, I would add in there also get training. I mean, so if you plan to become a day trader, you have to first learn the skills, and whether that's through taking a course with somebody or just learning through trial and error. But I think, as Bill mentioned, whether it's paper trading on a notebook or some platforms like I know Thinkorswim has paper trading where you basically trade with play money as opposed to real money. I did try that back when I was in college, my freshman year. Actually, that takes me back to some memories. I was basically in class not paying attention. I was just on my computer, paper trading. So, but back then I had dreams of becoming a investor and trader, and now that's kind of come full circle now, being in crypto. But yeah, I mean, I would say definitely put in the time, paper trade, also just learn. I know Bill has some books he likes, Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, I believe.
Right. And then there's Technical Analysis of Futures Markets. It is the Cure for Insomnia. It's a pretty big book. You're going to have to develop your own way of understanding the market. That's why, you're going to need to get TradingView, or you're going to need to say, buy a newsletter. You're going to have to figure out what works for you. Right. So you're going to have to build your own style, your own system. Okay. So that's a given. The question is, can you manage your emotions so you don't wind up in the bracket with the losers? Right. Because, some guys don't have incredibly sophisticated systems. Like, some guys are quants, some guys aren't. So it's whatever's going to work for you. And that's like a discovery process in addition to a research project.
Well said. Well said. Thank you, Bill. All right. I actually just had some breaking news over here. Not politics, but for anybody out there who follows American football. So Cam Newton has signed with the Patriots. Wow. That's interesting mix, Bill Belichick and Cam. All right. Okay, back to the AMA. Okay, let's find. So I'm avoiding the token questions because we have so many of them, and we can get through all of them. And we do have Token Metrics, which has tokens. So let me find some non-token questions. Okay, so this one I can quickly answer. Okay, so you were right on the money with your HEX prediction a couple of weeks ago. Can you show what the system shows now for the future of HEX? First of all, I mean, it's good that the prediction models worked, that it's right. So I think the prediction model basically said that it was bullish on it when it went up, because our price prediction index that we've been testing in-house, it's not public yet, but 2 months ago it was bullish on HEX. This is not looking at fundamentals or technicals. This is just purely based on price action. So just prior price. So it was bullish on it. It went up like 300 or 400%. Then it said, okay, now it's going to crash. Then it ended up crashing. I believe is the part where it's saying we're right about it crashing. I mean, I would say if it's that good, I mean, create a token metrics account. I mean, if it's that good, then I'm pretty sure the account, if you use the coupon code Crypto Family, all caps, one word, you basically make your money back, right? The proof is in the pudding. Okay, all right. Going on to a different question. Okay, we have so many questions about tokens. Don't think we will be able to get through all these token questions. Okay, so here's one. What do you think about credits and Chainlink partnership? Okay, so I have not heard about this partnership, but let me see if I can do a quick search and pull this up here. Chainlink and credits. I know Chainlink has been doing a bunch of different partnerships. Okay, this one seems old. Maybe that's why I have, because pulling up this on Google, this came from 2019, so this is pretty old. But in general, Bill, are you able to pull up Chainlink and credits? Maybe we can check the price action. For the fundamentals, just go to tokenmetrics.com and just see our overall view. I mean, Chainlink has been a decent project. It's typically, I would say, in the top 20, top 30, I would say. But it's not really in the top 10 in our opinion. But I mean, they definitely have done a good job with partnerships, because lots of projects do need oracles.
Okay. So let me bring Chainlink up here. Okay, I'm getting there. It's almost there. Here we go. Okay. So if we're looking at Chainlink, okay, it looks to me like Chainlink likes to go up and then make these like diagonal consolidations, right? It goes up and then it makes these sort of diagonal consolidations, or these sort of like, sort of sideways slumps. And it looks like that's what's happening again, right? Chainlink went up and then it hangs out for a while, and now it looks like it's trying to resume. So if there's news on this, that might make sense, or there's some sort of fundamental change is what I would call it. What is the other coin?
Credits. That's a Russian blockchain project. I mean, Chainlink Army is insane. Their memes and the community on Twitter and in general. I mean, there are lots of people in there. I mean, they're trying to roast me on Twitter because I sold all my Chainlink some time back. But I mean, at the end of the day, you don't lose money taking profits, especially if those profits parlay into a new investment that also makes money, right? So, I mean, it is what it is.
Right. So, I mean, you are right. There is an old Wall Street model that you can never get fired taking profits. Okay. There's also a motto that says fortunes are made by buying low and selling too early. Right. Cause
I like that one.
That means it also went up. So it looks like with credits, okay, it looks like we're in the mix of maybe a give up trade, right? Where everyone just goes, you know what, I like this, but I'm throwing in the towel, right? And we've seen this in a couple different crypto markets, okay? So, credits may be something where if you see a big down day, or you see like, a big heave, that, because it looks like whatever is benefiting Chainlink is hurting credits. Right. That's what it looks like on the charts. Now,
yeah.
So if you like credits, just wait for everyone to give up.
Well, I mean, I would say if I had to choose between the two, I would take Chainlink over credits, in my opinion. I mean, fundamental wise, technology wise, it's just the better project, and the market also agrees with that based on the market cap. I mean, I haven't really heard much from credits since I met them in Russia. This was 2018. I mean, and let's just say after I met them, I didn't go and buy more or buy any. But that's just my opinion. All right, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Okay, Bloodsville says, I'm watching you guys for the first time and it matches my numbers. Okay, not sure which numbers you're talking about, but hey, welcome. Great to have you here. Barry says, Ian, thoughts on Avalanche? Okay, Avalanche, I have heard about that. I think we might have looked. Let me just pull that up real quick. Is that Ava? Is Ava Labs? Okay, yeah. So Ava Labs, we already have that on Token Metrics, I believe. Ava Labs. Let me just do a quick check. Yeah, Ava Labs. Okay, sorry, I think we have it, but it may not be finished reviewing. Actually, we do. Yeah. So Barry, we do already have our. So technology is all right. It's still very early, but it's all right. Fundamentals, pretty much not there because it's very early, very experimental. Hasn't launched yet. No liquidity at all. But with that being said, though, I mean, it does have some potential down the road, right? Because if they launch and they have all the good exchanges listing them with liquidity, and there's more marketing and everything, right? Right now, it's kind of been in semi-stealth mode. So it's really hard to say, put your capital at risk to get this. Now they do plan to have their token sale, I think next month, I believe. Well, I have to double check either next month or pretty soon, but definitely worth putting on a watch list. But it is somewhat early. But go to Token Metrics to have the full ratings. We do plan to put out a report on this as well. Actually, the report is already finished. We just have to kind of go through and do some edits and some reviews on it. Okay, I know Alpha Diallo has been talking about salt all day long. so Bill, could we? Okay, so Michael says the sale is on July 8th. Okay, interesting. So we'll definitely have to speed that up. Bill, could you pull up Salt Lending, TA?
Sure, coming up. Okay, so I think in equities, we would call this like trapped money, right? It looks like everybody got in on the way up, right? And now they're starting to feel a little bit trapped. Okay. In other words, I think that in order for this coin to go up, it's got to take out this level. Right now, it looks like people are getting discouraged because it's trading below my little dotted line there. To keep it sort of simple, sometimes markets go up and then they go all the way back down. And those are great chances to get in. So if you love this, fundamentally, that's the way I say it. If you love it, now's your chance, right? However, this is starting to look like all the people who FOMO'd are bailing. So I'm not sure this is the lending platform of choice, but
definitely not. At this point in time, I mean, there's so many better options. Compounds, I would say even ones like Celsius. Celsius does have a token. I'm not quite so bullish on the token per se, but I mean, as a centralized lending platform, I would opt over Celsius or Compound in my opinion. All right, but let us know what you think, Alpha Diallo and others down in the comments below. Okay, back to the AMA. Let me find some other questions here. Okay, most of these other questions are token-related questions, and we could talk about those all day long. Okay, what was the DeFi token metrics liked so much and informed their subscribers on? Well, I mean, I would just say if you're a customer, just go read our report. Unfortunately, I want to be fair to the customers because obviously they're paying, so we can't give away everything. Okay, let me just take a look here. Do Network, have we heard of it? Yes, we have heard of it. We've not done a deep dive into it yet. Okay, somebody's talking about DMM, DeFi Money Market. Tim Draper backed it. So we have been hearing about it. We've not researched it yet, but it is something on our radar. Okay, let me see what else we can talk about. Okay, yeah, I think that might be it because we have way too many token-specific questions, and I don't want to cover all of them because we'll be here all night. Okay, how about this? For those who have token-related questions, please go to forum.tokenmetrics.com and post them there. And then for the next live stream, we'll go through and pick a couple to answer first. Okay, let me see what here. Okay, this is more of a trading or shorting question. Probably not sure if it's somebody joking. Somebody says, was it wise of me to 50x short Bitcoin tonight? I mean, I would say in general, shorting is not wise because most shorters or traders in general lose money. But I mean, let's say, I mean, first of all, I would say if you have to ask this question, then the answer is no.
Yeah,
I mean, anybody who
you stole my line, right?
yeah.
Right. In other words, you know, a 50x short or a 5x short is something you would do, I think, when your trade is already making money. Like some of the best traders I know, they're saying is you have to earn the right to take risk. That means if you make a good trade, as it goes your way, if you want to add leverage, yes. If you just wake up, turn on YouTube and do a 50x short, then you're pretty much going to Vegas. So there's a fundamental subtlety between, you know, trading and, you know, betting everything on one trade.
Yeah. I mean, risk management is crucial, especially in crypto. I know so many people who are pretty smart who, I mean, they would treat trading like gambling, and that's never a good strategy because you end up just losing money and getting wiped out, especially if you're playing with borrowed money. So definitely be wise. But I think if you ask me that question, then the answer is no, unfortunately. Okay. That's okay. So here's one, even though it's token related. So the question is, Atom is not. Question is, Atom, which is Cosmos, is not moving, and then that's a coin we've done some chart work on in the past, and we also covered with Token Metrics. So Bill, maybe pull that up.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. I share this individual's sort of lack of patience with Cosmos. It's been frustrating. Okay. All right. So I'm bringing the chart up now. Okay. So in Cosmos, I was really happy a week ago to see it press on this really colorful line. And unfortunately, what I did was I showed the market where all the stops were. And what they did was they ran all the stops in Cosmos and scared everybody out. Now, that means Cosmos probably has to do a lot of work to recover. Okay. So sometimes I talk about the give up trade in alts. It would appear that we've seen the give up trade in Cosmos.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. So if Cosmos can't recover from here, then it's kind of done. Right. If it can recover from here, okay, it should be okay. But it does look like they ran the stops in Cosmos and gave up, which I would view as a bullish sign, but I understand it's really annoying if you're trying to hold it long term. It is a disappointing move. But a lot of times when people give up and, you know, I'm like, oh my God, you know, sometimes that's the buy point. You don't know yet. Now Cosmos has to prove itself.
I think that's well said. I mean, in a way, it's still kind of recovering probably from a co-founder leaving. All right, but tell us what you think about Cosmos down in the comments below. Okay. I think that might have to be it for today, because let me see if we have any other interesting. Yeah, I think all the others are just token related questions that people. Okay, so yeah, if you have any token related questions, either go to the forum and post them there, or just go to Token Metrics and just search for it. Because some tokens I see we have already covered before. So if you're not watching this on our Token Metrics channel, just go to Token Metrics on YouTube and just search for those videos. So for example, somebody's asking about ByDAO. We've already covered our thoughts on that, I believe. And then let me take a look. Monero and all the others, yeah, we've kind of shared that. All right, with that being said, any last words of wisdom, Bill? as we head into July and the possible summer trap?
Yes. Well, let's let's hope for a stable July. Let's hope the city of Houston recovers, and stay safe out there, crypto family. Ian, thanks for having me on the show.
All right. Thank you, Bill.
Take care.
Yeah. All right. And yeah, as Bill said, stay safe out there, crypto family. Let me just check in with the comments and see how we are before we wrap up. How do you feel about Blockstack? What do you admire about what they're doing? What do you like to see from them? Well, I mean, they're building. We've put out our thoughts on Blockstack before. Our ratings are also on Token Metrics, so just go over there. But in general, I mean, it's a pretty solid project. So, and the market cap is low, right? Versus to where we think it could go, the potential, right? So the potential versus the upside, I would say, is very good. Okay. Somebody's saying they're very bullish on Tomo. That's Tomo chain. All right. Where's Bitcoin's price headed? Well, I'll say just if you missed the Bitcoin TA, just go back into the beginning of the live stream. We did do some TA, I believe. So just go to that or just check Token Metrics. But July, basically, long story short, too long didn't read. If you go to, I mean, July, historically speaking, has not been good for Bitcoin, right? So you have to be very, very cautious. Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, as we like to say, the moon is not the limit. As you see here, I'm on the moon already. To the moon and beyond. With that being said, thank you, crypto family. Stay strong. Stay safe in July. Make sure you have Token Metrics by your bedside. You know, we have your back. We have your TA, your fundamentals, your ratings, your reviews. That's why we're here, right? To the moon and beyond. Crypto family in the house. Until next time, be sure to like and subscribe and turn on